Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Cultivating Success webinar. We will be talking about Open Food Network today. We're joined by Kate Painter from Boundary County Extension, and we are so thrilled for your presentation today, Kate. The Cultivating Success program was founded in the year 2000 as a partnership of University of Idaho Extension, Washington State University Food Systems Program, and the nonprofit Rural Roots. We're all sharing a lot of bandwidth these days, and a lot of us are familiar with Zoom, but I'm going to quickly go over some webinar tips that you might be able to use during today's presentation. We recommend that you close all programs running on your computer. This will help free up additional bandwidth to make sure that your experience with the webinar today is smooth. You can check your sound. If you're experiencing any issues with your sound or with your video or the presenter video, you can shoot me a message in the chat and I am happy to let you know if you're experiencing that on your end or if that is on the presenter end and help you troubleshoot through that. Type any questions you have for Kate during the presentation into the Q&A box. You can find that at the bottom of your screen. And again, if you have any technical difficulties or other questions, you can put those in the chat. We also encourage you to use the chat to introduce yourself. Let us know where you're joining from today and maybe what brought you here. And then finally, at the end of the presentation today, I will let you know where you can find a recording of the presentation and the slide handouts. So like I said, today we're joined by Kate Painter, who is from University of Idaho Extension in Boundary County. And we are thrilled to have her presenting today. My name is Mackenzie Lawrence. I am with University of Idaho, the Northern District, and I will be your moderator for today. So with that, I will hand it over to Kate Painter to get started.
Hi, everyone. I am happy to be here today, and thank you so much, Mackenzie, for excellent information. Oops. All right, so as Mackenzie said, I'm talking about the Open Food Network today, and it is an open source platform enabling food producers and consumers to connect directly, as well as a lot of other things, and I'll try to cover those briefly today and give you some resources where you can find out more about it. Okay, so the Open Food Network is a nonprofit started by producers in Australia in 2012. And now it is part of a global Open Food Network community. And there is an open source online software platform that enables efficient and transparent short food chains. It provides a lot of resources to help build local food supply chains in many different ways. It has won awards. It was a recent recipient of the Mozilla Open Source Support Program, and it got $50,000 for that, for its role in ensuring food system resilience. And the impact was described as at a time when supply chains are being disrupted around the world. So this was during the pandemic a year ago, resulting in both food waste and shortages. They're helping to get food to people in need. So Open Food Network in Australia is openfoodnetwork.org. It has started with $35,000 that was sourced from crowdfunding. And they launched a social enterprise consultancy called Open Food Services. They built a resource library to help community food enterprises. They brought in international partners, and they are currently in 9 countries around the world, including the US. There's many different things they're doing. For example, one interesting project is a way to offer produce at schools. So you can order online and collect at the schools, and they create a hub that way, paying a margin to the hub to cover costs. So there's a resource material that you can download, as well as many other things if you're interested in exploring them at openfoodnetwork.org. Food producers can sell online. That's what we were looking for our project. The wholesalers can manage buying groups through networks of food hubs and shops, and communities can bring producers together to create a virtual farmers market. And what I was looking for a platform for a virtual farmers market as a pilot program here in Boundary County where I work. We had a focus group on our local food system to see what the needs were, basically a SWOT analysis. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in 2018. And we brought together leaders in the community and had a 6-hour workshop conducted by a moderator to see where we stood and what the needs were. And one need that came out was we used to have an online farmers market platform. It was really quite groundbreaking at the time. It was called Six Rivers Market. And we want to resurrect that. Well, it was a lot of work for people that weren't really getting paid for doing it. And at some point, after about 6 years, it kind of fizzled out where there weren't people willing to put in the time to make it happen anymore. So we spent a long time, a steering committee that was formed from that focus group. We spent a couple of years looking at what we wanted and how we might go about getting it and trying things with really not much in the way of resources. So just a little bit more about the Open Food Network. And again, it was created to solve a problem like ours. There is a little YouTube on this, and I think it's probably worth looking at this because they more succinctly described everything that the Open Food Network is doing. So I am going to try to do this. If I need help, maybe Mackenzie can help me, but here is the YouTube. It talks a little bit more about Open Food Network, and if I may have to do something.
The Open Food Network is a website
Can you hear the
producers
sound?
and community-based food enterprises can sell their products on.
Kate, I think you might have frozen. Hang tight, folks. I'm going to get Kate back online.
It's transparent and fair. This video will give you a quick introduction to the front-end features that the Open.
Can you hear this, Mackenzie?
We could hear it, but you just froze for a second and the video stopped.
OFN has, including the directory, map, and online shop fronts. It will also show you how businesses can use the back-end tools to configure their shop front to fit their needs. This makes the administrative tasks of running a food business quicker and easier for you. Let's start with the OFN map. From here, you can see all of the producers and food businesses who have a profile or shop front on the OFN. We can search by location to see which producers and shops are in our area. Clicking on a profile will tell us more about this business, such as what they grow if they're a producer, or how their hub or co-op operates. If we click on the Shops tab, we can browse shops, see when their order cycles open and close, and search for different product categories and delivery options. Here is My Food Hub, a cooperative operating within Melbourne. We order directly from multiple producers on the OFN, bringing the products to one place to redistribute among our customers. If you click on the Producers tab, you can view which producers the Food Hub sources from and read a little bit about them. In the shopfront, you can look through the various products. There are filtering and search functions, browsing by product category, producer, or keyword. Customers can easily select the quantities of the product they wish to purchase. Clicking on the pie chart icon next to each item will tell customers how much of the cost is going to the producer and how much is going to the food hub. This enables full transparency in costing. Customers can then click on their cart where they can review their order. They can then check out and select their payment and shipping methods, which have been set by the shop owner. Now let's have a brief look at the behind-the-scenes features of the OFN that make running an online shopfront more efficient and straightforward. You can set up a profile either as a producer selling your own produce, as a food hub selling goods from other producers, or as a customer. For a detailed explanation of any of these features, see the OFN user guide at openfoodnetwork.org/user guide. To manage your enterprises, click on the settings icon and administration. Select the food enterprise you wish to manage. Here I can alter a wide range of preferences to make the OFN work for my food business. Here I can update my profile, including my contact details, link social media accounts, edit the About section where you can tell your story and your principles, add images to appear on your shopfront, and if you're a producer, you can add properties such as free range, biodynamic, or organic certification. Enterprises can create shipping methods that suit them, such as delivery or farm gate pickup. This allows you to add different charges for different shipping methods. As you can see here, delivery has a $10 flat rate attached, whereas pickup has no charge. Payment methods can also be tailored to your needs with multiple payment methods such as cash on delivery, EFTPOS, PayPal, or MasterCard Internet Gateway Service. You can have a look at the user guide for more information on how these work. You can also add an enterprise fee for any other fee you might have, such as a packing fee or administration fee. As a co-op, we add a 10% packing fee. These functions are similar for producers. If you go to the Products tab along the top, you can view all of your products and add new products. You can also add product variants, such as if you have a discount for buying larger amounts, or if you have different sizes of one product. For items we buy in bulk, there's also the bulk buy tool, which helps customers to collectively meet the bulk order quantities. Once your products have all been entered, you can create an order cycle to show that your shopfront is open and accepting orders. Choose when your order cycle opens and closes to indicate to your customers when they can place an order with you. Each time an order cycle is created, you can select which products will be stocked in your store. In the orders section, you can see and make edits to any of your customers' orders. Once all of your orders are in, you can use the report section to view and print invoices, packing sheets, and supplier order forms. So that is a brief summary of what the Open Food Network can do for your food business. We supply a platform to better enable you to do what you do. It's all about transparency in the food supply and ensuring our food is coming from local, sustainable sources where producers are being paid a fair price. With 100% not-for-profit and open source code, the OFN is growing internationally. So join us in revolutionizing the food system to a fairer and more sustainable future. For more information, contact hello@openfoodnetwork.org or head to the website at www.openfoodnetwork.org.au and set up your own profile.
Okay, so that was a more
In
succinct.
any event, whenever I see the soil level going down, I just dig things up, throw.
I think we'll give Kate just a second to get back. She might be having some bandwidth issues.
They have excellent guides and they also have support. The support is provided by volunteers, though, so we have to, be a little patient. However, we, as in Jana, I'm not sure if she's on. I should see if she is on with us today. Can you tell if let's see, she is not. Okay, So Jan Stanford, I hired her. She has been brilliant at doing this. She set the store up. She has been creating our local user guides and working one-on-one with producers to develop this for us. But she's been excellent about working with the international group and getting any kind of problems worked out and understanding everything. So in the USA, it's openfoodnetwork.net. It's .org for the international Australian-based group. But as you can see, there's a lot on the East Coast, and there's a growing number up here in our region. So that's exciting, and some little pockets around the country. So as I was explaining earlier, we had a steering group with a strong desire to get an online farmers market going again. In 2 years of pretty intense meeting, we came up with a logo and a design, and we called it Be Local Online Farmers Market. Now this is a pilot project, so we've got some funding from Idaho SARE in order to create something that's replicable for other communities. The thing that really got us stuck for quite a while was if you have a food hub, you have to have some sort of legal structure, like be incorporated or be a nonprofit. You have to have some funding. You've got to take on some liability. You've got to collect and pay taxes. We did not want to do that. We wanted it to be directly some sort of direct link between buyers and sellers, so that we were not in the middle having to do a lot of administrative work and worry about things. And we had a little bit of funding for paying Jana to work on this project, but nothing for ongoing membership. While we were looking at all these different possibilities, and during COVID, there were farmers markets around the country, looking at other kinds of platforms being developed, and most of them were fairly expensive, either for the initial setup or an ongoing monthly fee. And that just wasn't going to work for us. We needed something like what we settled on. And it was funny because I was attending a lot of meetings via Zoom during the pandemic, because I work with the farmers market here to look at different options. And the person that looked at this Open Food Network said, you would have to be a programmer. It is too difficult. Well, fortunately, Jana tried it and she said, it's not difficult. I've already got my store up and running. She just sells eggs from her farm. She sells a lot of eggs. So this worked perfectly for her, and we were off and running. I hired her. She's got great people skills. So she's had lots of good energy for getting this up and running. And what we decided, because we did not want to go with some sort of legal entity, Jana researched this and found out there's something called a group. And so we are a group of producers that each handle their own transactions, and we have a pickup. So we have a group pickup, which is just based out of the extension office here, 8 to 5, 2 days a week. And it's funny because originally there's Be Local Boundary County. Originally, there were only 2 groups in the United States, and now you can see there are 5. And it is a great way to avoid the problems of being a middleman. So Be Local Boundary County, if you search on it as a group, you'll see there's a number of shops online. Right now we have 14 participants in our small town. We're just a small town of 2,500 people in a county of 11,000. This has been slow to get people to buy in. I think it's hard to teach people how to do some of these things, and that's why we have Jana developed an excellent visual guide. So we have a couple honey sellers, eggs, meat. That's a new one, and that's working out well. Garden produce, several. So we've got some market gardeners. Value-added items work well. Some like dried fruit and fruit juices, infused oils, and custom baked goods. And people have configured this to work for them in different ways. Some people have gone to just advertise a listing to say, I sell this, come check it out, or contact me for more information. And some have gone through and done all the listings with their items in it. But they're all mapped, and we're going to stop in a minute and go look at how this all works. But we've got a little tractor for all the participants. And here's what it looks like when you click on it. Harvest Moon Honey. This works well for her because she has a set number of products. So it's not constantly having to be updated. And she's figured out the order cycle. So that's probably one of the more difficult things, is the order cycles that were described in that video. So you have to be willing to keep putting in new order cycles. I don't know if anybody ever shopped with Bountiful Baskets, but we did that for quite some time. And they had a weekly order cycle and a weekly drop site. So it's along those lines. It's not as easy as Amazon Prime and doing it from your phone in 2 seconds, but it does work on your phone. Okay, so yeah, what's really nice is I think it highlights who she is, and she's able to, have those qualities that she's her shop personifies raw filtered honey from native and organically grown pollinator plants. Here is another shop, Pestorino Ranch. This is a young woman who is really adept with learning all the technology. It's a little harder for some of us, myself included, but she's got a lot of different products. I recently placed a order for a deposit on her broilers. So she's working out different ways, and she has these long order cycles. So she doesn't have a weekly, she has next order closing in 2 months. So it's a more permanent display. So there's many ways people have found to make this work for them. So Boundary County Be Local Online Farmers Market, I developed a website, belocal.net. Hopefully, again, with the idea that it could be replicated or added to by other communities. And it is a pilot project developed with help from Western SARE. And SARE is a USDA Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education. And Idaho has annual funding for its professional development program. I'm one of the coordinators for that program. So our website, belocal.net, is a year-round online farmers market for this community. And it's replicable for other communities to emulate. All right, and this is what it looks like, belocal.net. I am going to go there and show it to you. Oops, I think I did that wrong. Okay, so now I'm in my browser. And so for people interested in being vendors, we have an application form to be part of our group. And when you fill that out, then you get a visual startup guide. It's quite long, but it's got screenshots and arrows and tells you very precisely how to get your storefront up and get all registered and get online payments set up, which is the great feature of this. We've got that working. A lot of these things were really not that slick initially, but Jana has worked her way through all of these, and again with support from the international program, and I think that's going to really help it grow. Other little details we had to figure out were our market rules, so that's another place where we park those, kind of like a farmer's market, who can sell on our group. So we've got the social media all integrated. Let's go shop. And what this website does, this interface does, is it pulls you into the openfoodnetwork.net groups Be Local. So it's a way to have an easy way for people to delve right in. And it's the interface is a little confusing. I mean, it's not like Amazon Prime. So we put in this interface, scroll down to shop. Okay, here we are. The local boundary county, there's our map. And from here, you can just click on someone and see, oh, that's Harvest Moon Honey. We've seen her already. It's got her contact information and her about, which is very impressive. Founded on the principles of stewardship, sustainability, and social responsibility. It's really a good way for her to get her name out in the community among those who want to buy local. And so you can go from that map and then dive in. There's a little more information about our group and the combined pickup. And then our producers. Again, you can sort as you saw in the short video. This is Jana and her eggs. And then we're in her shop. It talks about her and she's got her about. She talks about her heritage chickens and how wonderfully they're kept. You can shop. And so then you have to go into here and select a pickup time. And from there, you can see the different options and go through, fill out your cart and pay for it. There's contact information for her. So people have to be willing to learn. We've had some workshops in the extension office to teach people about shopping there and also selling there. And we need to continue to have those to keep it going. Okay, so I am going to go back to my PowerPoint at this point. So some of the ways we, Jana has been fantastic, has developed support for participants is one way is something called Pro Boards. That is a platform that provides a web-based place for posting the latest guides, rules, and other useful information. We were having people coordinate when they were dropping things off, and we realized we don't need to do that. We just use the hours that are our open hours at the extension office anyway, and we have a designated spot, and we're getting a plug-in cooler actually for it as well for people to come in and out and pick up orders and drop them off. Proboards.com was a great find, provides a free form for customer support. And then, as I said, Jana developed a screen-by-screen user's guide for producers. And they're actually, Open Food Network has asked if she would be willing to be a support person for the whole group. She's worked with them to get local sales tax interfaces for this area. For example, Idaho has 6% here. Montana has no tax, and Boundary County is located very close to Montana. I think she's added Washington as well. We also needed some US weights and measures that weren't in their system. Again, this is flying ahead because a lot more people are interested. And this is the first page of her visual guide. And basically, we don't just put it out on the internet because we want to get people to join the group in this pilot project and try to grow our presence as a local group, encouraging local participation. The Be Local vendor support on the Pro Board looks like this. And we've got lots of information there that they can find the most recent guides and whatever's going on, more information about the drop site, for example, if they forget other messages. So with that, do we have any questions?
I don't see any questions that have come in the Q&A box or the chat yet, but I actually have a question.
Good.
What advice would you give for folks in different areas who are approaching this kind of process that you all went through in Boundary County? You maybe need or want an online farmers market or some sort of platform like this. Where do you start? What advice would you give people?
Well, you need a dedicated group of people like our steering committee. So we have different producers. We've got that's what you need, is you need to have people that want to create this, enough people that you've got some momentum. So our steering committee members include a woman that has value added products from her orchard, like dried fruit. Another is a market gardener, and she's struggled, but she's very, very dedicated to this. She's put in a lot of time, but just the interface and to get photos of her produce and constantly changing and not wanting to put things up that she might sell out of, and how to interface that with her farmer's market sales. And my idea initially was that this would make our farmers market sales more efficient. So if she, for example, had some orders, and she does do this, has them all, they're pre-sold, and all people have to do is whiz by and pick them up, especially during the pandemic. They could order and then just pick them up. But for a market gardener to try to keep this up, as well as everything else they do during the busy growing season, it was really a lot. And we just were getting going in the middle of last summer. So for a while, she just had her CSA boxes, large and small and medium, up there. And that was actually a really good way, a really good solution. So to advertise her CSAs and how unique they are and what they're doing. And she's amazing with social media, always telling you how to cook with her food, for example. And she's just such a dedicated, hardworking person, and people pick that up, I think, from seeing that. So I think the most important thing is to have a group of people who really want this to happen first and are willing to go through the process.
Yeah, that's awesome. A really good suggestion too, to just start with your CSA box, where you can account for flexibility in your products and planning for maybe putting things on the site a week in advance or things that way. That's a really smart place to start.
Yeah, and the really important thing in my mind, I had a value-added business from my farm for a number of years, and that was that it needed to be low risk. It needed to be something you didn't have to subscribe to, and that you had some help with. And so this takes care of that problem, in that it's open source, and that we have Jana to help us for a while to get these guides written and getting some of the wrinkles worked out. But I couldn't have something that cost a lot of money, or that I had to do a trial period 1 month, and I don't have enough time to do it justice. So you could slowly work on it. I mean, people have, oh, I'm just going to start with a business listing. Oh, you know what? I can do a business listing and tell people to contact me because I don't want to post pictures. Or, oh, hey, I can post pictures. So what we've developed, like for this one woman who does custom baked goods, they're just gorgeous, so charming. And this has worked really well for her, is Jana helped her take her pictures off her Facebook site and put them in her online store. And then it says, this is an example of what I can do. And then for Valentine's Day, she had a big push, and she sold a lot of boxes for Valentine candy boxes. So just different ways people can do stuff. Like one couple does feed boxes. They're very expensive, hundreds of dollars, but they can just put samples and say, contact us.
That's awesome. Actually, my follow-up question too, I think you touched on that a little bit, is aside from like agricultural products, maybe value-added products, does this kind of platform support other things you might find at a farmer's market, like crafts or handmade like wood products or things like that? Or is it really geared towards ag products and value-added products?
We've been playing around with that. There's one very dedicated woman who makes hand-sewn wallets and other kind of purses. So she has been working closely with Jana to get her products online. And that's kind of hard because they're all unique. They're with different fabric. So she's an example that we're working with, and for her, it's a big learning curve to keep the order cycles up. And it may be that she doesn't want to have weekly order cycles because each item is unique. So we're working out different systems. So there's a mushroom producer, there's a CBD oil person, there's soaps. Honey seems to be working well, but one person has dozens and dozens of products, and she just didn't want to list them all. So people may just have their social media link in there, but at least you can figure out who is local and find out a little bit more about them.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic kind of opportunity just to have your contact information out there if it doesn't seem feasible to you to maybe list all of your products. That is a really cool option that folks have.
Yeah, I like the map. So if people want to go somewhere, like we have a farm stand, 24/7 flower farm stand. And I've got to get her listed there because that's a great little destination. It's not too far off the beaten track, but it is off the beaten track. But she's been amazed at how people like to go for a drive and go to her flower stand. So there's more work to be done, and it'll evolve. I just had this vision of having, more of a co-op type, an active co-op that for this county. I guess they had one in the past, but then you've got a lot more expenses, like a permanent farmers market. So we'll just see how it goes.
Awesome. I don't see any questions.
Okay,
so come in so far. So I don't know if you just have a few final thoughts.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a shout out to Western SARE. It's a great source for kind of grassroots, almost grant programs. They can be quite small. They like farmer-driven innovations in agriculture that improve profitability, stewardship, and quality of life. And there is a state program, and there's also the Western region, westernsare.org. And it's got a lot of resources, books that have been developed that you can download, all the grant projects that they funded over the years. So I really wanted to give a shout out and a thank you for the Western SARE report. I guess in conclusion, I just was writing down a few notes that, it's a little hard to teach less tech savvy people to do some of these things, but it really empowers them when they learn and how to integrate some things from social media. So I think we're doing a lot of good in that way. It is hard to get folks to change their buying habits, maybe plan ahead, go online and support local. But people do really seem to want to support local producers. So that's excellent that people will do this. It is still a work in progress. I think the integrated payment methods, so people have a way to accept credit cards, has been super helpful. But it's not as easy as Amazon Prime. Maybe in time, it'll just get better and better as with being open source.
Yeah. Okay, I lied. I have one more follow-up question.
Okay.
What have you done to get the word out about this? Sometimes I think as a consumer, it can be hard to hear about these types of things, or maybe you just miss it. So what have you all been doing to let people know that this is a resource for them, maybe for their business, or a resource for finding places to purchase from?
Yes, that is always a struggle. So we've been doing a lot. It feels like we've had a Facebook site from early on that we will share all kinds of things on. And of course, there's the website and other social media. We could probably even do more than what we're doing that way. We've had classes at the extension office. Probably the best way we've got the news out. We've had great coverage from our Living Local regional magazine, articles, written articles for the paper. Yeah, I guess that's about it. We've had flyers posted, so we're just trying to, we're actually thinking of maybe, I've got one little banner in the front of the extension office, and we're thinking we need to have a few more banners around town, maybe near the farmer's market. I've gone to the farmer's market with my sign and pass out flyers to encourage people, especially all the vendors at the farmer's market. So I think that's about it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. And if anybody's interested and wants more information, please feel free to contact me. There is a follow-up survey. Go ahead. Why don't you explain that, Mackenzie?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We do have a very short evaluation about the webinar that will close or open when you close your Zoom window. But if for any reason you miss taking that evaluation, you'll also receive it tomorrow in a follow-up email. That email will also tell you where you can find the recording of this webinar and the slide handout here at the Cultivating Success website /recorded webinars. And then our upcoming webinars for the month of April, a lot of them focus on marketing. Next Tuesday, we will have Diane Green from Green Tree Naturals joining us to talk about designing your farmers market booth just in time for the beginning of the farmers market season in some places. On April 20th, Emily Black from Lone Mountain Farms will be talking about a 3-step marketing method to keep your customers flowing in. So that will cover a lot of those social media platforms, how to be found on Google. She has a lot of really great information about marketing. And then our final webinar of the series this year will be about unpacking and planning for the costs of land ownership and of leasing farmland. So we hope you're able to join us for some of those. And again, you can find the complete schedule and register for webinar on the Cultivating Success website. So thank you so much again, Kate, for joining us today and for that excellent webinar about Open Food Network. I can't wait to use it.
Thank you.